As always, I'm doing this on my own time with my own resources and not my official capacity. So there's been some questions raised online about whether the CEA board has the authority to purchase land. The people who are arguing that they don't are using the Constitution, and I'm going to read from it. They're using Article 8, Powers to the Cowlitz Tribal Councils, Section 1, and they're doing B, to purchase, buy, and accept any land or other property for Cowlitz Indian Tribe which the Cowlitz Tribal Council determines to be reasonable beneficial to the use of the Cowlitz Indian Tribe. So they're using that section and saying that that power is delegated only to the Tribal Council and to no one else, and thus the CA board can't purchase land. So I'm going to actually talk about another part of the Constitution. I'm going to go to letter J of the Constitution, the same section, letter J, to enact legislation regulating the procedures of the Cowlitz Indian Tribe. I believe this is where the delegation authority comes from. That the tribal council has been allowed to set up rules on how we run our government. It's our tribal code, and tribal council was delegated that authority by the general council. And it's in this tribal code where we delegate the authority for CA to purchase land. And I should say that delegation is common across government, that it happens at the state level, it happens at the federal level. It's just a way of getting things done more efficiently. And when CA purchases land, they don't actually purchase it for the Cowlitz Indian Tribe. They purchase it under CA. It only becomes tribal property. CA is fully owned by the tribe, but as far as when it actually comes under the name of the Cowlitz Indian Tribe is when it's put in trust. And to put it in trust, CA brings it to tribal council, in essence saying, here's a gift of the land, which is part of that letter B. Do you want it? And tribal council will say yes or no. And if they say yes, they will accept the land and they will move to put it in trust. So when CA buys property, they are buying it under the CEA name. I will say that while I believe that Dean, who is one of the big proponents of the tribal council only part of this, is sincere, he's inconsistent. And why I say he's inconsistent is that he purchases stuff all the time in his day job as public works director. In order to purchase stuff, if it's under 100,000, tribal council has delegated that. And where does tribal council get the ability to say what can be purchased? It's actually under letter E of that same section, to administer any funds or property controlled, held, or owned by the Cowlitz Indian Tribe, and to make expenditures for purposes including salaries and remunerations of elected officials, officers, and tribal employees. So it basically says the tribal council has the authority to decide how money is spent. And we have set a limit that if it's over $100,000, you have to come to tribal council. If it's under, we've delegated that out. Dean has never attacked that. That's why I think he's inconsistent on it. He has, in fact, wanted that number raised. I think his number was around $250,000 that he wanted it raised to, because he thought he was having to come to tribal council too often. But the exact same thing. The power came from general council to tribal council in order to spend money. And if we can't delegate authority with the land, we obviously can't delegate authority in purchases, and tribal council will have to basically approve all purchases. I want to take a minute to defend the 3 CA board members who are general council members. They've done a wonderful job. They get paid a stipend, yes, but that stipend is fairly low and does not in any way, shape, or form show the amount of time and effort they've put in for our tribe, as have all of our general council volunteers over the years. If CA is unable to have general council members on it in order to purchase land, then I would say that that any general council member can't be on any committee, because tribal council doesn't have the ability to delegate the authority. Again, I've said I believe the delegation of authority comes in our ability to write the codes. That is my opinion. But I wanted to just take a minute to defend those 3 members who I think have been coming under undue attack. We've had general council members on our economic stuff since before we were a recognized tribe. Back in the 90s, we had general council members who helped pave the place to get us to where we are today. When Dean was on CTJ initially, in his early years on CTJ, he was a general council member, and nobody said anything about it, nor should they have said anything about it. He's a tribal council member now, but he wasn't then, and I think these CA board members really should be left alone on this, and I don't know why anybody would be attacking general council members who want to help their tribe. But anyway, that's just my thoughts for the day. Thanks.